enjoyed working with a dynamic group, whether it be the leadership team and all staff members of MI, but also the other board members. Each board member, the independents and the member directors, bring unique aspects to their position on the board. And it's how the board goes about using that collaborative approach and input of ideas to formulate the ongoing strategy of the company and keeping MI as a strong company into the future. I could always see that MI over the last 10 or 15 years has gone through a major transformation with the modernisation of the system. But I couldn't see what was behind that. Okay, I always knew that there must be a lot of work behind the scenes. So it's been really interesting as a board member to see what happens behind the scenes and all the levels of work and infrastructure that go into making MI work in an efficient way for the farmers. Before joining the board, I had a perception that there was a number of different silos of staff within the company that didn't talk to each other, that things might slip through the cracks and so on. Since joining the board, I can now see that it is a very unified company. Of course it can improve, and that's part of the board's role, is to help work out how that can improve. But I see a lot of very innovative staff members working in the best direction that they possibly can to deliver water. One of the things I noticed particularly was the enormous amount of compliance that MI has to go through just simply to get the water into our system and distribute that to the farmers. There is a variety of different levels of government and various different government organisations that each have their level of tick the box and compliance, and MI just simply has to do that. We have no choice. If we want to continue to maintain our licences and distribution of the water, it has to be done, and simply that takes manpower to do that. Customer service and engagement is one of the areas that's changed dramatically in MI. Back in the day, there was 80 to 100 divisional operators driving around in utes, communicating with farmers, very boots on the ground type attitude. And I think the farmers actually felt comfortable with that, but it was a terribly inefficient way of doing things. So one of the great changes within MI has been the change to the control room and the phasing out of the divisional operators. That's taken a bit of time for the farmers to get used to in how they engage with MI, but it's certainly a positive move, and every farmer I talk to has had good engagement processes with the control room, and simply they get their water when they need to get their water. I always thought that the company was very focused on the delivery of water, and so it should be. That's basically the core business. But there's a whole range of things that go into doing that. And part of the board's main role is to set the strategy for the future and the levels of risk associated with that as to the different directions that the company may be taking. So I have really enjoyed putting my mind with the other board members and bringing our professional experiences and our life experiences to, as a group, including the leadership team and the CEO, to analyse all of the different risk aspects that face our company and how we can position the company strategically in the future to be even better. There's a range of strategies that have to be considered by MI going forward. Whether it's the reduction in allocations, whether it's water policy, geopolitical instability in the future, rising input costs, staff retention, and of course a priority for the company is the safety of staff. I've always had a high level of trust for MI and the staff within MI. I do fully understand that a lot of customers and stakeholders haven't had that same perception in the past. So it's an ongoing process for the board and the CEO to be developing a higher level of trust with our customers. The way to do that is very simple: to do what we say we're going to do in a timely fashion. The level of transparency within the company has certainly increased in the last period of time. You can see that in a number of different ways. The increasing number of newsletters that go out to customers and stakeholders, but also the annual report. It contains a lot more information than it used to, and I would encourage every customer to go through the annual report once a year to see the high level of transparency that's coming through. I would strongly encourage people to consider standing for the board, but before doing so, I would like them to do some homework. Talk to any of the directors, member directors, we're very contactable, or indeed even the CEO, to discuss what's involved with being a director, because often the reality is different to the perception. The opportunity to work with a group of innovative, dynamic people has been wonderful for me. Personally, I feel like I've grown through the opportunity, but I do hope that I've been able to contribute back through my ideas and perceptions of how things should be, and think of the bigger picture and the broader brushstrokes for MI.